Right, so up to now we've seen that if we can get something like this in about that much time for about that much money. So which is great. But what if you and your investors are sort of okay with being able to get this? You're sort of okay with this amount of money, but you're not really okay with this time frame. You'd like to try and do it quicker. Well, one thing you can do is instead of having one of these teams, we can add another team. We can double up. And in our initial calculations, what we found was that we had about 500 total story points of work to go through in this feature backlog. And we said it was going to take about 10 of these 2-week iterations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that roughly means we're going to finish about there. So what if we add another team? If we add another team, then maybe instead of doing 50 per iteration, maybe we can do 80, because this doesn't double. Okay, so if you add more and more people, it's not a linear relationship, but you can possibly get more done. So let's say it's 80. So 500 divided by 80 is roughly 6. So we could be able to finish perhaps in 6 iterations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you have double the amount of people, and it's costing you, so it's going to cost you now, let's say 100K per iteration. Yes, because you're doubling up in the amount of people, but it'll take you roughly 6 iterations. So you're going to pay a bit more, but hopefully you'll be able to reduce time. And if you rather have the 50K extra to try and get to, well, 6 times 2 weeks is what, 12. So it's like 3 months. If you try and get it in just over 3 months, then that might be worth it to you. How about if we want to get it even faster? Should we add a third team so we can go even faster? Actually, no, you should be careful about how many people you add into innovation. Because if you add too many people, what is actually going to happen is that is going to happen. It's going to take longer. Why is this the case? What's going on? Well, as we saw, what we're basically doing is we're iterating through the risk space. And this is the dangerous area. This is the dangerous money. This is where we're dealing with the stuff over here, the really tough stuff. More hands doesn't necessarily help here. What you want are your best people working very tightly together, trying to understand how these features we're trying to tackle here interrelate and trying to get that walking skeleton in place, the backbone of whatever it is you're trying to do, and prove it or disprove it. Adding more hands, normally a very bad idea. Why? What happens? Instead of trying to tackle and battle with the issues at hand, your best are starting to work to try and think out, what can I do to keep these people busy meaningfully? Because your investors are going, well, these people cost a fortune and they have to be productive and so forth, and you start turning your best people into management kind of folks that are trying to make sure these folks are somehow meaningfully productive. During this phase, it's an extremely bad idea. Okay? Where can we scale? Where can we start thinking about adding additional hands? Well, after we've sort of proven the core, that we've got the walking skeleton going. Because this is starting to look more like effort. This is where we're dealing with the complexity and sort of like business risk about cannibalizing existing revenues or potentially compliance or some serious issues that need some quick decisions about how we're going to go about this thing, as well as the technical complexity, things we've never done before. Can we figure out how to do them? Are they doable? But as you're coming towards this, this thing is sort of looking like it's going to work. What remains is more and more looking like effort. Okay, so and when it becomes more like effort, well, then it becomes easier to add more hands and more effective to add more hands. So don't scale until you've sort of gotten here, and then you can consider scaling up as you're approaching this kind of work. Also, still not completely linear, but at least it's a better place to scale. Very bad idea to scale here. So good. We saw that if you want to sort of decrease the time, there are some options, but you need to be quite careful about thinking about it because more hands on deck doesn't mean necessarily less time. Great.